Before teen dramas became a formula, Beverly Hills 90210 made growing up look both glamorous and painful. It gave us lockers, beach houses, the peach pit, and first loves that felt completely permanent, and friendships that shattered under fame, jealousy, addiction, and loss. Though the real tragedy started once the cameras stopped. Those kids who once seemed forever young carried very real scars into adulthood, and some faces who defined the 90s are no longer here. Tonight, we return to Beverly Hills, not to dig up cheap gossip, but to explore the heavy price of early fame. Steve Sanders was the wealthy kid who spent years trying to trade superficial charm for actual maturity. A spoiled troublemaker who entered Beverly Hills 90210 with a smirk, slowly becoming the show's most surprising success story. Ann Ziering, born March 30, 1964, was 26 when the series debuted in 1990, giving Steve a perfect blend of insecurity and humor. Steve could be arrogant, impulsive, and desperate for approval, which is exactly why his character arc resonated so deeply. He was far from the deepest guy in the room initially, forced to grow into decency, loyalty, and responsibility right before our eyes. By 2026, Ziering turned 62, his life after 90210 remaining tied to pop culture reinvention. He built a new following through the Sharknado movies and eventually competed on the hit show Dancing with the Stars. And he returned to the franchise in B8 of 90210, showing he fully embraced the absurdity of his fame. Steve Sanders remains memorable because Ziering made spoiled privilege feel incredibly restless, funny, and ultimately human. David Silver was the ultimate outsider whose desperate need to fit in defined his entire coming-of-age story. Brian Austin Green, born July 15, 1973, was just 17 when the series launched in 1990. He made David feel like the kid hovering near the cool table, constantly trying to reinvent himself just to get noticed. David starts out awkward and overly eager, but that desperate hunger gives his character real emotional weight. His music, his bond with the older crowd, and his epic romance with Donna Martin made him the ultimate symbol of growing up on screen. In 2026, Green turned 53, his post-show life marked by steady acting work and highly publicized personal chapters, including roles in the Sarah Connor Chronicles and Anger Management, alongside reality television appearances and a highly public private life. He also overcame serious health battles, opening up publicly to reveal a deeper, more resilient side to his teen idol image. David Silver still resonates because Green made awkward ambition feel vulnerable, deeply loyal, and desperate to belong. Donna Martin was pure innocence, trying to stay intact in a world designed to test it. Her soft nature becoming one of the show's trademark emotional signatures. Tori Spelling, born May 16, 1973, was just 17 when production started in 1990. She brought a soft gentleness to Donna that contrasted with the show's louder dramas. Donna was stylish, loyal, and frequently underestimated. Her real power lay in holding on to her core values, even as the world around her spun completely out of control. Her enduring romance with David Silver became a fan-favorite storyline, evolving from awkward teenage dating to a beautiful wedding in the series final. Recently, Spelling turned 53, and her post-show life played out under constant media scrutiny, marked by acting, memoirs, reality television, and highly public financial struggles, as well as family and relationship issues that kept her in the headlines long after leaving West Beverly High. Being the daughter of legendary producer Aaron Spelling, she carried the heavy burden of being both a cast member and Hollywood royalty. Donna Martin remains unforgettable because Tori Spelling made sweetness feel vulnerable, stubborn, and far tougher than anyone ever expected. Nat Busicchio was the safe haven at the Peach Pit, an adult presence who made the show feel less like a soapy teen fantasy and more like a real community. Joey Tata, born September 13, 1936, was 54 when the show debuted in 1990. He gave Nat a quiet warmth that never required grand speeches. He was the diner owner, mentor, and patient listener who let those kids grow up under his roof without judgment. He mattered because the Peach Pit was never just a local diner. It was a sanctuary where heartbreak, friendship, mistakes, and second chances all shared the very same booth. Tata passed away on August 24, 2022, at age 85 after battling Alzheimer's, sparking emotional tributes from the entire cast. Long before playing Nat, he appeared in iconic television shows like Batman, The Rockford Files, and The A-Team, but the Peach Pit remained his permanent home in television history. Nat Busicchio endures because Joey Tata made kindness feel completely natural, steady, and exactly like coming home. Dylan McKay was the beautiful wound of 90210. This brooding outsider, with his leather jacket and haunted stare, became the show's first true legend. If we look back, Luke Perry was 24 in 1990. He gave Dylan a haunting sadness that made the drama feel older. Dylan was rich, lonely, and self-destructive, yet loyal, always hiding deep pain behind a cool exterior. His romances with Brenda and Kelly sparked massive fan debates, but his lasting appeal came from the hope that love could save him, even when he did not believe it himself. Perry died on March 4, 2019, at 52, after suffering a massive stroke. His loss still shadows the 90210 legacy. After the series, he kept working in television, later winning hearts again as Fred Andrews on Riverdale and appearing posthumously in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Dylan McKay endures because Luke Perry made loneliness look magnetic and then made it feel painfully human. There was Andrea Zuckerman, holding on to her school newspaper with pure ambition. The outsider who proved 90210 was more than just beauty and money. Gabriel Cartaris, born January 2, 1961, was 29 when the series started in 1990. She gave Andrea an urgency that set her apart from the rest of the group. Andrea was brilliant, intense, and socially conscious, and painfully aware that she did not fit into West Beverly's wealthy world. That friction made her character vital. She was the student earning her place through hard work and intellect, while everyone else seemed to inherit their confidence. At 65 in 2026, her life after the show became deeply influential behind the scenes. While she kept acting, she also became the president of SAG-AFTRA, leading the massive entertainment union. During a turbulent era for performers, that real-world leadership makes Andrea feel almost prophetic today. The ambitious on-screen editor became a real-life actress fighting for workers in Hollywood. Andrea endures because Gabriel Carteris made intelligence feel restless, principled, and hungry for a fairer world. Cindy Walsh was the mother who brought Minnesota calm into the Beverly Hills chaos. She was the steady presence who made us feel like the Walsh house was the only place with real roots. Carol Potter, born May 21, 1948, was 42 when the show began in 1990, giving Cindy a grounding warmth. She was never flashy, but she mattered because Brandon and Brenda needed someone, and to make this wild environment feel survivable, patient, practical, and loving, she was sometimes quietly overwhelmed by the fast-paced world her teenagers were entering. In 2026, Potter turned 78, her post-show life taking a deeply meaningful turn beyond acting. She actually became a licensed marriage and family therapist, which feels incredibly fitting for the woman remembered as a TV mother trying to maintain order inside a house full of teenage storms. She returned for later 90210 projects, keeping Cindy tied to the franchise's legacy. Cindy Walsh endures because Carol Potter made motherhood feel steady, observant, and strong enough to survive the chaos. Jim Walsh was the father who tried to bring rules, hard work, and decency to a town built on sheer glamour. James Eckhouse, born February 14, 1955, was 35 when the show started in 1990. He gave Jim a grounded seriousness that made the family feel real. Jim was never the coolest adult around, and that was exactly the point. He stood for responsibility, real-world financial worries, and parental limits, managing the tough job of raising teens where temptation was costly and consequences always seemed to arrive late. In 2026, Eckhouse turned 71, continuing a diverse career in acting, directing, theater, and teaching. He landed roles on major shows like The Good Wife and Criminal Minds, while directing and mentoring young talent. That steady creative path naturally mirrors Jim's character, which was always focused on substance over flashy spectacles. Jim Walsh endures because James House made fatherhood feel incredibly practical, protective, and far more valuable than his kids realized back then. Kelly Taylor was the ultimate popular girl, slowly revealing the deep pain hiding behind perfect hair and wealth. Jenny Garth, born April 3, 1972, was 18 when 90210 premiered, giving Kelly a complex, gripping character arc. Kelly started as the gorgeous, privileged girl next door, but the series kept peeling back that superficial layer. She faced family drama, toxic romances, addiction, and the constant burden of being wanted before ever being understood. Her love triangles with Dylan and Brandon defined the series, but her real story was about surviving the brutal world that crowned her. By 2026, Garth is 54, her life still bridging nostalgia with constant personal reinvention. She starred in What I Like About You, joined spin-off projects, hosted podcasts, and spoke openly about aging, family, health, and the weird pressure of being trapped forever as a teen idol. Kelly Taylor still resonates because Jenny Garr made popularity feel bruised, complicated, and way more fragile than it looked. Valerie Malone is basically a beautiful smile with a dark secret behind it, the newcomer who hit Beverly Hills 90210 and made the group dangerous again. Tiffany Thean, born January 23, 1974, was 20 when she joined the series in 1994, giving Valerie a mix of charm, calculation, and hidden damage. Valerie really mattered because she was never just some simple bad girl replacing Brenda. She brought grief, anger, sex appeal, and a survival instinct that made every relationship volatile. She lied, manipulated, and betrayed. Yet Thiessen made sure viewers could always feel the hurting soul hiding beneath that cold exterior. In 2026, Theon turns 52, carrying two huge Teen TV legacies. Before 90210, she was already iconic on Saved by the Bell, before building solid adult roles in Fast Lane, White Collar, and cooking lifestyle television. Transitioning from America as sweetheart to a schemer showed off her incredible range. Valerie Malone endures because Tiffany Thean made trouble look glamorous, vulnerable, and absolutely impossible to ignore. Brenda Walsh was the girl who brought fire to Beverly Hills, an outsider whose passion, pride, and heartbreak made her impossible to ignore. Shannon Doherty, born April 12, 1971, was 19 when Beverly Hills 90210 began in 1990, giving Brenda the intensity that made the show a phenomenon. Brenda was never an easy character, but that was exactly why she mattered. She loved fiercely, fought hard, and made her mistakes loudly, dealing with the shock of a world where friendship, romance, and status could instantly turn brutal. Dory died on July 13, 2024, at 53, after a long, very public battle with breast cancer that she discussed with rare honesty. Beyond 90210, she was known for Heathers and loved as Prue Harwell on Charmed, building a career defined by fierce talent and controversy. Her battle with cancer eventually reframed how fans saw her, not as the difficult young starlet tabloids chased, but as a woman reclaiming her own narrative. Brenda Walsh endures because Shannon Doherty made raw emotion feel dangerous, honest, and unforgettable. Claire Arnold is pure intelligence with razor-sharp edges. She made Beverly Hills 90210 feel older, stranger, and unpredictable, just when those college years needed fresh energy. Kathleen Robertson, born July 8, 1973, was 21 when she joined the show, giving Claire a cool confidence that could blend flirtation, biting sarcasm, and raw vulnerability in a single breath. Claire was never designed to fit in softly. She challenged everyone, demanded control, and was always more emotionally complicated than she let on. Her messy flings with David and Steve brought a completely different rhythm to the later seasons, pushing the drama past high school innocence and straight into complicated adult choices. In 2026, Robertson is 52, and her career after 90210 proved she was more than a teen drama addition, appearing in films like Nowhere, Boss, and Murder in the First, before stepping behind the scenes as a writer and producer on Swimming with Sharks. Claire Arnold endures because Kathleen Robertson made intelligence feel incredibly seductive, guarded, and just erratic enough to keep us hooked. Noah Hunter is late-season mystery in a leather jacket, a rich outsider who rolls in with charm, emotional damage, and a constant feeling that he is hiding something. Vincent Young, born June 4, 1965, was 32 when he joined 90210 in its 8th season. He brought a brooding vibe to Noah, echoing the show's classic heartthrobs, while clearly belonging to a completely new era. Noah was wealthy but broken, romantic yet unreliable, and constantly struggling with deep addiction, family drama, and bad choices that made loving him way harder than it needed to be. In 2026, Young turned 61, and his life after 90101 has been far quieter than his brief, late-season spotlight. He worked on smaller projects, choosing a private creative path, though Noah remains his defining legacy for most fans. His quiet life gives his then and now story a unique vibe, proving not every teen drama star needs to stay under the spotlight forever. Noah Hunter endures because Vincent Young made this late-arriving troublemaker handsome, haunted, and incredibly difficult to trust. Janet Sosner is the woman who helped Steve Sanders mature, not by forcing change, but by making real responsibility feel like a choice. Lindsay Price, born December 6, 1976, was 21 when she joined 90-0210 in the later seasons. Price gave Janet a smart, grounded energy that balanced Steve's impulsive past. Janet worked because she was never just a love interest. She was a journalist, a partner, and eventually a wife and mother who helped guide Steve toward actual adulthood. For a show that started with teen chaos, their relationship became a quiet sign that everyone was finally growing up. In 2026, Price is 49. Her career after the show featured roles in Lipstick Jungle, Eastwick, and Splitting Up Together. Her personal life made headlines too, especially her marriage to celebrity chef Curtis Stone, which kept her in the public eye. Sosner endures because Lindsay Price made maturity feel smart, patient, and totally believable. Matt Durning is the good guy who arrives too late for Kelly Taylor's happy ending, played by Daniel Cosgrove. Born December 16, 1970, he was 28 when joining Beverly Hills 90210 in Season 9. He gave Matt a clean-cut steadiness that Kelly desperately needed after years of drama. But Matt's story quickly gets a lot more complicated. He deals with legal pressure, deep secrets, and a painful past, plus his own moments of weakness. He is no perfect savior, just another adult trying to survive messy choices. In 2026, Cos Igro turns 56, and his career after the show became highly familiar to soap fans. He landed major roles in All My Children, Guiding Light, and Days of Our Lives, and later appeared in hits like Billions and You, building a solid career on charming, conflicted characters. Matt Durning endures because Daniel Cosgrove made late season stability feel sincere, temporary, and ultimately too weak to beat the past. Jess Vasquez is the young husband who brought real-world responsibility into Andrea Zuckerman's carefully mapped-out future. Mark DiSpinosa, born June 24, 1960, was 33 when he joined Beverly Hills 90210, bringing a grounded seriousness to Jess that made Andrea's storyline feel so less like a teen fantasy and more like real consequences. Jess is ambitious, loving, and constantly under pressure, trying to launch a legal career while becoming a family man way faster than expected. His marriage to Andrea matters because it highlights how fast young love gets complicated by hard work, identity struggles, parenthood, and mistakes that cannot be fixed with just one emotional speech. In 2026, Espinosa turned 66, and his post-show career thrived across various TV dramas, including The Young and the Restless, Criminal Minds, SORT, and numerous guest roles, often bringing a calm, authoritative realism to the screen. Jess Vasquez endures Binocti. Espinosa also made responsibility feel heavy, loving, and tougher than romance ever promised. Ray Prutt was the boyfriend who made Beverly Hills 90210 uncomfortable when his charm and music turned into something dark. James Walters, born June 13, 1969, was 25 when he joined in Season 5, giving Ray the wounded appeal of a struggling musician whose personal pain never excused the harm he caused. Ray matters because his relationship with Donna forced the show to tackle emotional and physical abuse in a romance that fans initially wanted to root for. This made him highly controversial yet memorable. In 2026, Walters turns 57. His post-show life took a dramatic turn away from Hollywood. Before the show, he had a #1 hit with How Do You Talk to an Angel from the Heights. But after walking away from acting and music, he became a firefighter and paramedic, choosing real-world service over teen drama fame. Ray Prutt endures because James Walters made charm feel dangerous, and his actual life became far more inspiring than his character's worst choices. Feliz Martin is the kind of mother whose love arrives heavily disguised as control. She is the kind of parent who thinks protecting Donna means judging her every move. Catherine Cannon, born September 6, 1953, joined Beverly Hills 90210 at age 39. She gave Feliz a polished strictness that pressured Donna's innocence. Feliz matters because she represents an older, traditional moral code, pushing back against the newfound freedoms of the younger generation. She is often harsh, class-conscious, and hypercritical, but her character is never shallow. Beneath the constant disapproval is a deep fear that Donna will get hurt or become someone she cannot understand. In 2026, Cannon turned 73. Her extensive career before and after the show included Father Murphy and numerous television roles. Though she eventually stepped away from the spotlight of acting, this quieter lifestyle leaves Feliz alive mostly within the show's lasting emotional memory. She is the mother fans argued with because they recognized the tension. A Feliz Martin endures because Catherine Cannon made judgment feel maternal, flawed, and far more complex than simple cruelty. Gina Kincaid is beauty sharpened entirely by resentment. She was the cousin who walked into Beverly Hills 90210 carrying ambition, jealousy, and rejection. Vanessa Marcel, born October 15, 1968, was 30 when she joined the show, bringing Gina a darker, more volatile energy during its final seasons. Gina is manipulative, sure, but her schemes work because they stem from insecurity instead of pure malice. She chases money, love, status, and revenge. Deep down, she is convinced that life handed everyone else a much better deal. In 2026, Marshall turns 58, and her work outside 90210 still resonates with TV fans. An Emmy winner for General Hospital as Brenda Barrett, she also starred in Las Vegas, bringing her trademark intensity and glamour to various screen roles. Her personal life saw public heartbreaks over family and relationships, making her vulnerable on-screen performances feel even more authentic. Kincaid lives on because Vanessa Mae Marcel made jealousy look incredibly wounded, glamorous, and dangerous. Then there is Brandon Walsh, the clean-cut moral compass arriving in Beverly Hills like the hero America still needed. Jason Priestley was 21 when Beverly Hills 90210 debuted back in 1990. He gave Brandon a grounded charm, acting as our guide through all the wealth, temptation, and wild teenage chaos. Brandon worked because he was flawed, even as the show's moral compass. He remained ambitious, highly principled, occasionally judgmental, and always discovering that doing the right thing gets tough when status and romance pull you away. In 2026, Priestley turns 57, his post-show life shaped by survival and constant reinvention. He exited the drama late in its run, pivoting toward directing, starring in series like Call Me Fitz and surviving a major 2002 car crash that nearly cost him everything. His return for Bias 90210 proved how well he understands the strange legacy of his breakout hit. Brandon lives on because Priestley made goodness feel cool, flawed, and constantly tested. The Peach Pit lights have dimmed, but those memories still echo loudly. The friendships, the heartbreaks, the drama, and the icons who defined youth on television for an entire generation. 90210 made youth feel infinite, but reality proved otherwise. Some of these actors rebuilt their lives after stardom, others chose quieter paths, and some, like Luke Perry and Shannon Doty, passed away far too soon. If this trip back to West Beverly hit home, stay with Rewind 1960s for more then and now, stories about the shows that shaped who we are.